coming into the series against the Cavs, I told myself whoever wins the Darius Garland, Derek White matchup is probably going to dictate how long this series goes, or basically the ultimate winner. And he's, arguably our best perimeter defender, him and Drew Holiday, as you know. But yeah, he's just been phenomenal. Jaylen Brown led the way with also 32 points last night, 12 of 18 shooting. He's averaging 24 points this postseason, 54% from the field. He's just been on this hot streak dating back to a little bit after the All-Star break. He has just been, it's not like he's just scoring, but he's scoring at such an efficient clip. He's been shooting over 50% for it's got to be close to 3 months now, or whatever the case may be. But those two have led the way. Jayson Tatum, and first off, shout out my boy Chase Cafaro, because he briefly touched upon this yesterday. Yesterday he sent a tweet in our Twitter group, and it was just one of those polls, and I think in the tweet it had Tatum, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Anthony Edwards, and I believe Jalen Brunson, or some other fourth player. But I know for a fact it was definitely Shai and Tatum. And the question above was, who's the best player here? Personally, I voted Tatum, because I believe not just what you've done in the regular season, but your resume in the playoffs has to speak volumes. What he's done the past 3-4 years, I just feel like he still maintains an edge over guys like Ant Edwards, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And don't get me wrong, even though Tatum has a couple years on those guys, I still think he still has that edge, the experience, the reps, and it's really tough for me to say this, as Shai and Edwards are literally averaging close to 30 points this postseason. But I'm seeing it more as a team impact guy. So coming into the year, everyone said that the Celtics should win. They have the best roster hands down, top to bottom, blah, 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 blah. And, they came out and they balled out. Tatum had a first-team All-NBA caliber season. He had an MVP caliber season. I think he's definitely going to garner a couple MVP votes. Shout out Nikola Jokic, by the way. They just announced that he took home his third MVP. I feel like someone like myself, who has been an honest truth teller about Jayson Tatum and his game and where he is in this league and his play style and how he impacts winning and everything, all his intangibles, etc. I feel like I've been one of the most honest about it. But the only areas of his game that I really heavily critiqued him on was his shot selection, heavy three-point volume, his desire to get to the rim, all those things. I feel like that has really been the sole deficiency of his game. Everything else, he's kind of checked the box. He plays defense. He rebounds the ball well for his position. He's a team player. He'll always make the extra pass. And he's still one of the toughest players to guard in this league. A league that, there's only how many defenders that can guard Jayson Tatum. If you could really think about the best defender to guard Jayson Tatum, he's 6'11" wing with a good handle that can shoot over you. He can go by you. I know people don't give him superb, praise for his, athleticism, but the dude is 6'11" and he moves very smoothly. He's not clumsy. He moves very well for a guy at his size. Guys at 6'11" aren't supposed to be doing side steps. They're not supposed to be doing double tweens into pull-up jumpers. They're not supposed to be doing Euro steps into, lays with the left hand. So I just feel like we need to pump the brakes just a teeny bit with Jayson Tatum. This isn't the first time that we've seen him struggle in the playoffs, just shooting-wise. Last year in the Miami series, he did struggle shooting a little bit early on before he caught fire in the middle of the series, bringing us back to tie it to force Game 7, where obviously he ultimately rolled his ankle. In the Philly series prior to that, he was really, really struggling. I think that was really the red flag that everyone kind of witnessed in the basketball world. But the guy is a very, very impactful winning player. He's literally impacting every facet of the game. Derek White and Jaylen Brown are shooting 50% from the field. Do you think Jayson Tatum has nothing to do with that? Don't you think Jayson Tatum has to move the rock? Don't you think Jayson Tatum is dictating the coverages? Don't you think that Jayson Tatum has to actually make the right reads to get the ball to the right person so they can make a play for themselves or continue to make a play for another player? There was one play actually that stood out to me. I believe it was in the third quarter. Tatum was at the top of the key, the three-point line. he got a pick and roll. He got a screen going left from Al Horford. He goes left. Al set him a screen. Al rolled to the middle of the middle, like basically around the free throw line. Tatum threw him a nice, under bounce pass. Got to Horford. I believe not Jared Allen, sorry. Evan Mobley rotated, cut Horford off. Horford, got the ball, didn't even dribble. He swung it to the corner where Jaylen Brown was. Jaylen Brown caught the ball, pump fake, then he proceeded to drive, and then he kicked it out back to Jayson Tatum, who was still at the top of the key after the defense rotated. Jayson Tatum caught the ball, and in the adjacent wing spot was Jrue Holiday. Tatum didn't even hesitate. He caught the ball and he just swung it quick right into the shooter's pocket of Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday catches it and swaps a three. And I say that play specifically because how many superstars are willing to pass up two shots? Because remember, he could have initiated a shot for himself and gone downhill on the pick and roll when Al set it for him. Instead, he passed it to Al. Al actually had an opportunity to score. Al, one of the most selfless forwards, big men in the game, he swung it to the corner where Jaylen Brown could have taken a shot. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, the energy is contagious. Jayson Tatum passes up a shot. He gives it to Horford. Horford passes up a shot. He gives it to Jaylen. Jaylen passes up a shot. He drives, kicks it back up to Tatum. Tatum passes up a shot again, swings it to Jrue Holiday, and he gets an wide open three. Plays like that, that is the reason why Jayson Tatum, even when he is struggling from the field, he's still regarded as one of the most lethal players in the league. I don't even feel like I need to reiterate this, and I really shouldn't, but I've just seen so much anti-Tatum discourse over the past couple of days. And I don't know if it's because of what Anthony Edwards has been doing in Minnesota, and, I tip my hat to him. I'm going to get into that series, obviously, later on. I don't know if it has anything to do with the recent momentum from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander the past couple of years, but whenever we evaluate these players and assess these players, we always talk about what they do in the playoffs. What do we do here? What do we do there? Tatum is maybe, a couple years older than those guys. He still has an edge when it comes to this playoff stuff. This is still a guy that's played over 80-something playoff games. Jayson Tatum wouldn't be able to make those specific reads or that extra pass 2-3 years ago. You know what I mean? Obviously, Shai Gilgeous, Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, those guys are killing. You know what I mean? And I tip my hat to them. But let's not let recency bias get out of hand. This is still Jayson Tatum. The Jayson Tatum that dropped 50 on Giannis in Game 7. Eliminated Milwaukee. I believe that was 2022. Yeah, 22. That same season, he swept KD and Kyrie. They didn't get a game. KD and Kyrie, imagine getting swept. Those are future Hall of Famers. Getting swept by Jayson Tatum. And then obviously, he had his struggles in the NBA Finals, but like I said, how many superstars get to the NBA Finals and are ready just like that to ascend? It's even LeBron, someone as great as LeBron is, the best player to ever live. Even when he got to the finals against the Spurs in 2007, dragging that, I don't want to say trash because I don't want to disrespect any players on the team, but he still dragged an inept Cavaliers team to the finals. And Greg Popovich, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Bruce Bowen, those guys forced LeBron to make reads, to make plays that he wasn't accustomed to making. There's an IQ, factor that we need to actually talk about when we evaluate these players. Obviously, the stats look good, the highlights, all that, but Tatum is a very mature player. He's a very seasoned superstar right now. I feel like we do need to keep in mind that this is a guy that is still 26 years old. He is not a finished product. He's just not. And I get it. He's struggling from the field. But if the Celtics are beating the Miami Heat in 5 games, yeah, granted, no Jimmy Butler, whatever. And then you come in, you smack the Cavaliers by over 20 points. Do you think Jayson Tatum cares about how many shots he's taking if he's still beating the Cavaliers? The main goal is June. That is the big goal at hand. I don't think Tatum gives a flying whatever what he's shooting from the three-point line as long as the Celtics are winning games. Coming into the Cavs-Celtics series, without Kristaps Porzingis, I was a little worried about, where we would be rebounding. Jared Allen, that rib injury, that definitely helps the Celtics a little bit because he's one of the best rim protector rebounders the league has seen the past, 5 years. He's always amongst the league leaders in that department, holding down the paint. So That's a big hole for the Cavs. You know, Evan Mobley, I think he had a double-double, 17 and 13 last night. He played well, but Evan Mobley is still a guy that is progressing. You know, he's still, you know, sharpening that. He's still, you know, he's still ascending and progressing as a player. So you got to be patient with that. So I just think that's a heavy task. That's a heavy task. I mean, the Celtics out-rebounded the Cavaliers 55-38 last night. So all those rebounding worries that I had, you know, I really shouldn't have them. And that goes into what I was saying about Jayson Tatum. The guy had 11 rebounds last night, 3 blocks, plus 18. A lineup best plus 18 plus minus. You know, the guy is an impactful player, even when he's not hitting shots. He's not like everyone else. There are a lot of players in this league that, you know, when the shot is not falling, it throws off their whole game. They stop, you know, competing on defense. Can't hit their free throws anymore. Now they're not, you know, diving for loose balls. Like, you can see it. We know the guys we're talking about. Tatum is not one of those guys. Tatum is one of the most complete wings in the game, and he is the biggest reason why the Celtics are where they are right now. In this point in time. And coming into the series, I had the Celtics beating them, I think I said Celtics in 6. And the reason why I really gave the Cavs that respect is just because, you know, I have massive respect for Donovan Mitchell. I thought he had an outstanding season this year before he got hurt. He got screwed with the All-NBA rule, the 65 games. He was playing like an MVP candidate while both Evan Mobley and Darius Garland were out. And he's just a phenomenal player. He had 33 points, shooting the 3 ball, getting down to the paint, but he just doesn't have enough horses with him. Or they're just not playing at that level that they need to, you know, trade blows with a team of Boston's caliber. So I do have Boston in 6. I only gave him that extra couple games just because, you know, Donovan Mitchell's great. I think he could steal one. The Cavaliers have actually given the Celtics somewhat trouble in the regular season. I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of the games have been close. There's that infamous, I think, 20-point lead that we blew, that Mitchell actually didn't play and that we lost in Cleveland. And, the Cavaliers, they've been one of the best defensive units in the league too. Not one of the best shooting teams, but they have some shooters. Obviously, got Mitchell. Garland is good for a couple. Max Strus, Karis LeVert. They're a little bit closer to streaky than formidable from downtown. But, you know, if they're hot from 3, then you definitely have a game. And, you know, Jared Allen being in the middle is arguably their biggest, most valuable, component of what they do on both sides of the floor as a screener and a rim protector. So, a lot of the downhill looks that Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland get, not as, it's not as, the lane's not as open as, it would be if, Allen was over there scrolling. Evan Mobley, like I said, is still progressing as, that hybrid 4-5 man. So even though I did say I like the Celtics in 6, I think this is this could be a sweep. It should be a sweep. After what I saw in Game 1, it should be a sweep. You think about it, the Celtics beat the Cavs by over 20 points, and Tatum didn't even shoot well from the field. If I'm a Cavs fan, that's just, it's not that promising. You're not that optimistic after seeing a performance like that. But definitely one game at a time. The Cavs team is not a team I would sleep on. Garland and Mitchell can get hot at any time, just like they did in those last 2 games against the Orlando Magic in Game 6 and Game 7. But I do like what I'm seeing from the Celtics, playing together, playing team basketball. Our best player is not even playing like our best player yet. I think for the Celtics to continue this trend, this type of basketball, I think both Derek White and Jaylen Brown, they both just need to be aggressive, green light every time. Because obviously with Porzingis out, Tatum is obviously still finding his footing, shooting the ball from the field. Those 2 guys just have to continue to be aggressive, dive into the paint, get open looks, make players better, all that fun stuff. Just continue to play their brand of basketball. As long as they're being aggressive, I think the Celtics will be just fine. And if Tatum finds his footing, hopefully sooner rather than later, the Celtics are just going to be as scary as we imagine them to be prior to the season.